The forest breezed around Chidi as he knelt in the clearing, his expensive Agbada robes dragging through the dirt. Midnight had arrived, and with it, the familiar weight of obligation. The calabash felt heavier tonight, its carved surface slick beneath his trembling fingers. He poured the palm wine onto the exposed roots of the ancient tree, watching it disappear into the earth like secrets swallowed by the darkness. "Spirits of the deep laces," he whispered, his voice barely audible above the rustling leaves. "Accept my offering. Keep your promise as I have kept mine." The wealth had come exactly as promised. 3 months ago, he'd been a struggling trader with debts that could bury 3 generations. Now, his compound was the largest in Nguo village. His warehouses overflowed with goods, and men twice his age bowed when he passed. But every full moon, he returned to this clearing, alone, performing rituals he didn't fully understand for powers he couldn't see. Until tonight. The temperature dropped so suddenly that Chidi's breath formed clouds in the air. The calabash slipped from his hands and shattered against the root, palm wine spreading like blood across the ground. He scrambled backward as a figure emerged from the shadows between the trees, moving with the fluid certainty of smoke. Papa and Kisi stood before him, and Chidi finally understood why the elders spoke of spirits with trembling voices. The being wore the shape of a man, but everything else was wrong. His eyes burned like coals left in a dead fire, neither bright enough to illuminate nor dark enough to offer mercy. His skin held the gray-green pallor of river clay, and when he moved, the air itself seemed to bend away from him. Papa Nkisi's voice echoed from every direction at once, as if the forest itself had learned to speak. "Chidi, son of Okafor, you have drunk deeply from the well of power, but wells run dry and debts come due." Chidi pressed his forehead to the ground, his heart hammering against his ribs. "Great One, I have honored our agreement. Every moon I bring offerings. I have told no one of our arrangement. What more do you require?" "More?" Papa Nkisi laughed, and somewhere in the village a baby began to cry. "You asked for dominion over men, to stand above your peers, to taste power that lesser mortals could never hold. Did you think such gifts come without true cost?" The spirit circled him slowly, and Chidi felt each footstep like a weight on his chest. "The ancestors grow impatient. They whisper that you hoard their blessings while giving nothing in return. Empty rituals and cheap palm wine are insults, not payments." "Please," Chidi gasped, still pressed against the earth. "Tell me what you need. I will give anything." "Anything." Papa Nkisi's voice turned contemplative, almost amused. "Dangerous words, young trader. But the spirits accept your offer. By the next full moon, you will bring a bride to the sacred Iroko tree. Not just any woman. She must be pure in spirit, untouched by the stains of sorrow and deceit. A soul so clean, it shines like water under starlight." Chidi raised his head, confusion momentarily overriding his fear. "A bride? I don't understand. What will happen to her?" "She will become queen of the realm beyond the veil. The spirits require one who can walk between worlds, who carries no darkness to corrupt the passages. Find her. Marry her with proper ceremony. Bring her to the sacred Iroko tree when the moon is full again. Do this, and your wealth will multiply beyond measure. Your name will echo through generations." The spirit leaned closer, and Chidi smelled river mud and decay. "Fail, and everything you have will turn to dust. Your compound will collapse. Your goods will rot. Your name will be forgotten before your body grows cold. And your soul, Chidi, will wander these forests forever, searching for redemption that will never come. But how will I know when I found the right woman? Chidi's voice cracked on the question. Papa Nkisi was already fading back into the shadows. His final words drifted through the clearing like morning mist. You asked for dominion over men. The spirits demand a queen for their realm. You will know her when you see her. You have 28 days. The moon keeps better time than men. Then he was gone, and Chidi was alone with the shattered calabash and the weight of an impossible task. The next morning, Chidi stood in his compound courtyard, surveying the evidence of his success. Stacked yams, bolts of cloth from the coast, clay pots filled with spices that cost more than most men earned in a year. All of it suddenly felt as substantial as smoke. 28 days. He needed to find a pure soul, convince her to marry him, and deliver her to spirits who spoke in riddles and threats. The full moon hung over him like an executioner's blade, dropping a little lower each night. He began his search that afternoon, moving through the Nkwo village with desperate eyes. The blacksmith's daughter was known for her kindness, but she carried grief for her dead mother like a visible scar. The chief's niece had a laugh like bells, but Chidi saw calculation in her eyes when she looked at his wealth. The widow who sold palm oil at the market had a gentleness that drew children like flowers draw bees. But Papa Nkisi had specified untouched by sorrow, and her sadness was woven into every gesture. Days blurred together. Chidi traveled to neighboring villages, then to towns he only heard of in trader stories. He met women who were beautiful, intelligent, generous, ambitious, shy, bold, everything except what he needed. Each sunset felt like a door closing. Each moonrise reminded him that time was a river flowing in only one direction. With 3 days remaining before the full moon, panic had stripped away everything except animal desperation. Chidi found himself walking toward the Mbala River, drawn by instinct, or fate, or simple exhaustion. The sun was setting, painting the water in shades of copper and blood. He sank onto the riverbank, head in his hands, accepting that he had failed. In 3 days, everything he built would crumble. His soul would join the restless dead in the forest, searching for a redemption that would never come. Then he heard singing. The voice was unlike anything he'd ever heard, neither quite human nor entirely otherworldly. It carried the liquid quality of water over stones, the whisper of wind through grass, the echo of something ancient and unnameable. The melody was a lullaby, but one that spoke of depths no child should know. Chidi's head snapped up. Downstream, perhaps 50 paces away, a woman sat on a flat rock at the water's edge. She wore white, a simple wrapper that seemed to glow in the dying light. Her hair was unbound, falling to her waist like a dark river. She gazed at the water as she sang, her profile sharp and beautiful as a knife blade. He stood slowly, afraid that sudden movement would shatter whatever spell had brought him here. As he approached, she turned to face him, and Chidi's breath caught in his throat. Her beauty was undeniable, but it was the quality of her presence that stopped him. She seemed to exist slightly apart from the world, as if she stood behind a thin veil that separated her from everything solid and ordinary. Her eyes held depths that reminded him of the river itself, dark and mysterious and full of secrets. "Forgive my intrusion," Chidi said, his voice rough from days of travel and stress. "Your singing is beautiful. I've never heard that song before." "Few have," she smiled, and something in that expression made his skin prickle with recognition he couldn't name. It's very old. My mother taught it to me, and her mother taught it to her, back and back through generations we've forgotten to count. I am Chidi from Ngwo village, he said, stepping closer, drawn by something he couldn't resist or understand. May I know your name? Ngwozi. The way she said it made it sound like a secret being shared. I have been waiting here a long time. Waiting for what? For someone to find me. She smiled widely, and in the fading light her teeth seemed very white. For you, perhaps. Why else would a wealthy trader come to this lonely place at the edge of day? The words tumbled out of Chidi's mouth before caution could stop them. I need a wife, immediately. I know this sounds